Okay, this is our spheres worksheet. It is titled worksheet number 4, actually. It's from April 15th, 2014. Okay, so we are supposed to find the surface area and the volume of different spheres, or work backwards to find radius, or whatever it asks for. So I'm going to do a couple of these questions. First of all, let's start with number 1. It says find the area of a sphere, surface area of a sphere, with a given diameter, and it leaves in terms of pi. Okay, so number 1, if we're finding surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. So we have 4 times pi. Radius is, well, it gives us d for diameter. Diameter is 30. That means our radius is 15. So we're going to plug in 15. 15 squared, plug that in the calculator, you end up with 225. 225 times 4 gives us 900. So I'm going to go ahead and write this down. 4 pi times 225. Multiply just your numbers together. You get 900. Keep your pi. And this is in terms of pi. This is our final answer. Okay, I'm going to skip number 2. I'm going to go to number 3. So again, it gives us the diameter. If the diameter is 32, just divide that number by 2 when we get the radius 16. Again, surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. 4 times pi, well, radius is 16 in this example, so 16 squared. You end up with 256. Multiply just your numbers together, 256 times 4, we get 1,024. Keep your pi in terms of pi. Next one, I'm going to skip all the way down to number 9. Number 9 is asking to use the circumference that it tells you to find the surface area of this sphere. Well, a bowling ball is a sphere, and we're going to use the circumference that's given to us to find the surface area. Well, first of all, if we know circumference, let's look at what circumference is. Circumference has an equation of 2 pi r. I know the circumference, so I'm going to plug this in for C. So 27 is equal to 2 pi r. I want to find radius. Now, why would I want to find radius? I want to find radius because I want to find surface area, and surface area is 4 pi r squared. I need radius to find surface area. So I can use this equation for circumference to solve for r. How do I do that? Well, first I'm going to divide 27 by 2. Why would I do that? Because this cancels out the 2 on the right side. So 27 divided by 2 is 13.5, and all I'm left with is pi times radius on the right. Now, how would I get rid of radius? Or would I get rid of pi? Well, pi is being multiplied by radius, so divide by pi on both sides. 13.5 divided by pi gives us, it's a pretty long decimal, but if we round it to the tens place, we would get 4.3. And that would be our radius. We use this radius to plug into our surface area equation. 4 pi, radius is 4.3, and we square it. 4.3 squared is 18.49. And then we can multiply our numbers together, 18.49 times 4, and get 73.96 pi. This is our answer in terms of pi. Technically, the question asks us to round the answer to the nearest whole number. So we're going to go ahead and multiply this out in the calculator, 73.96 times pi, and we get 232.35, which rounded in to the nearest whole number. 3 tells it to stay the same, so we get 232. And this would be our total surface area. Next question. Skipping down to number 13, it says find the volume of each sphere. It says give each answer in terms of pi and rounded to the nearest cubic unit. So how do I do this? Well, volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. The only thing we can plug in is our radius. Well, I know right here 12 would be the diameter. To find the radius, I divide it by 2. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. Plug that in. 6 cubed, which is the same thing as 6 times 6 times 6. We get 216. 216 times 4/3 is 288 pi. Now this is our answer in terms of pi, and we want our answer rounded to the nearest cubic unit. So 288 pi multiplied by pi is 904.77. If you round this to the nearest unit, that's whole number, so we end up with 905. 7 tells us to round up. And those are our two answers. The last question I'm going to do is, if we're given the volume of a sphere, find its surface area. So I want surface area, and remember, surface area is 4 pi r squared. Well, I know volume. The volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. I know it's 140 though, so I can plug it in. 4/3 pi r cubed. First, I want to get rid of this 4/3 pi. Well, how do I do that? I can divide both sides by 4/3 pi. It cancels out all of this stuff. So all we're left with is r cubed on the right. We get 140 divided by 4/3 pi. Now make sure we put this in parentheses in the calculator to make sure we get the correct answer. But if we do, we get 140 divided by 4/3 pi. Answer is 33 point, let's go around to the tenths place, so 33.4. This is r cubed. Well, how do I get r by itself? To get r, you have to take the cube root to get rid of cubed. R is equal to cube root of 33.4. Cube root of 33.4 in the calculator gives us a radius of 3.2. This is our radius. So this is not what we're looking for, but we need it in order to find surface area. So now we can plug in radius into our surface area equation. So 4 pi, radius is 3.2, and we're going to square that. So 3.2 squared is 10.24. 10.24 times 4 is 40.96 pi. This is our answer in terms of pi, but this says to the nearest whole number. So we're going to multiply these together, 40.96 times pi, and we end up with 128.67, nearest whole number, no decimal places. It ends up rounding up to 129. And that's our final answer.